Can I preface what I'm about to say, John, by urging people who are normally supporters of the Liberal Party or the National Party not to lose heart? Things can change very quickly in public life, and we only have to think back to the Voice campaign scarcely 18 months back, when it was Anthony Albanese and the Labor Party that were regarded as having failed monumentally and shown themselves to be monumentally out of touch. You might remember back in 2004, John Howard won 87 seats on the strength of something like 46% of the primary vote. People thought Labor were out of power for a generation, and within 3 years they were back. So I do want to preface what I'm about to say by encouraging people to be of good heart, even in this rather dispiriting time. You're absolutely right. This election was so winnable. At Christmas time, people had concluded that the government didn't deserve to be re-elected. We were ahead in just about all of the polls. What happened was that we failed to make a sustained case against the government. And in the end, the more they saw of us, the more they concluded that we weren't ourselves ready to govern. There are two questions that I think people ask going into an election. The first is, does the government deserve to be re-elected? And if the answer is no, they then ask a second question, is the opposition ready to govern? At the end of last year, they had well and truly marked down the government, but then we weren't able to persuade them that we were ready. And the longer the terrible campaign lasted, the more unready we seemed. And I can go into it if you like, but there was that thought bubble policy to get the public service back into the office. The Labor Party successfully portrayed that as an attack on everyone working from home, and so we reversed it. We said we were going to have a policy on revising the curriculum to make it about education, not indoctrination. In the end, we didn't do it. We never had an immigration policy, even though we'd frequently said that we thought immigration should be cut. In the end, we didn't even have a comprehensive energy policy. We announced a gas reservation before we had the modelling to show what the impact on prices might be. So while I have enormous respect for Peter Dutton as a human being, and while you've got to give him credit for getting us into a remarkably competitive position a few months ago, we completely blew it. We let ourselves down, but even worse, we let the country down. And that's to our shame, and it's obviously to, I guess, it's to the damage of our country.
Let's then just shape up why the Australian people were not convinced that the Albanese government should be returned. We've got to remember that if you take into account the fact that a lot of people didn't vote at all, fewer than one Australians out of three voted for this government. For good reason. We have the fastest collapsing living standards in the OECD. The
Correct.
OECD is the rich man's club, 35 countries. Australia's one of them. We're the 11th or 12th.
2 years in succession of declining GDP per head, an out-of-control immigration program, a society that's becoming more fractured.
A genuine cost of living crisis. Genuine. It's not made up. It's very real. We know from the research now that the more renewables in the system, the greater the impact of the reduction in our wealth. That's a fact. It hasn't proven to be cheaper. The more renewables we put into the system, the graphs are there, the higher electricity prices have been, and that alone is a large part of the cost of living. Wasn't drawn out, but it is. We have declining productivity. Most other countries, even countries like ours that are in a bit of economic trouble, have improving productivity. We have stubbornly high inflation because the government is spending more of our money than ever. Our tax system is the most dependent on personal taxation of any country in the world except for Denmark. This is an almighty mess internally. Externally, we're now back to the horrendous model of great power competition that plunged the world into darkness at the beginning of the 20th century. And we're sitting here like sitting ducks, in contrast to our forebears who, when they saw a challenge, stepped up. No wonder many Australians are feeling pretty bad about their country, let alone the government, Tony.